All right, Argentina winning by 3-0. Lionel Messi with one goal, Julian Alvarez with the other, but essentially turned into the Messi show. Messi getting a lot of the plaudits, a lot of the credit, a lot of the headlines. So let me take your thoughts, you and Daniel, just general thoughts on the encounter. Then we start to break it down and see what else stood out from the game or why we had this result on our hands from last night.
Well, it was, as Daniel predicted, your luck can't run forever. And their inability in front of goal, their bluntness, and he mentioned that their defense is not particularly solid. Because the second goal especially, it was a comedy of errors. They just couldn't stop Alvarez. And when you look at it, I felt bad for Sosa, because he was the last one who tried to clear the ball. And being a left-footed player, a lot of left-footed players, their right foot isn't really there.
He should retire.
He tried to clear the ball and made a complete hash of it, and it was a very easy kind of finish. But it was the day that those chances, when they came, Livakovic couldn't stop them. It was just that day for him, and he's had a very good World Cup. Croatia have had a very good World Cup as well, but again, their luck just ran out. They just didn't have they just couldn't keep up. So it was unfortunate for them. But I liked what I saw from Argentina, because they took their chances. That's the most important thing. And that's what, if Brazil had done, we wouldn't be discussing Croatia running out of luck. So it just goes to show it's about taking your chances.
Okay, all right. We'll get a lot more into that. But Daniel, your initial thoughts on this encounter?
There was a turning point in the game, yes, we'll get into that. But the Argentines, as you said, they took their opportunities. And Messi was brilliant again. Alvarez was fantastic in yesterday's game. His movement, his willingness to press, and it's especially the off-the-ball movement. It's something that we all know he has. But then the finishing is also part of it. We can't guarantee Lautaro Martinez would have scored those goals. So that's why I prefer him. And I feel like he did justice to Scaloni for starting him ahead of Lautaro. I think it was a very good defensive performance from Argentina also. They limited the shots that the Croats had on goal, because they knew that once they have a shot on goal, they are going to score their goalkeeper, who is very terrible. So it was very good defensive work from the Argentines.
I think he's increased the save percentage quite a bit after this game.
You made one save?
I think he made like 2.
Really?
Yeah, I think
so. One. A free kick from like 40 yards. If he hadn't saved it, I don't know for him. But yeah, okay. It was a good performance from Argentina. I think they deserved their win.
Okay, all right. Let's have a look at the match data from there, and we'll begin analysis just looking at the numbers from the game. So, Argentina 2.5 xG, Croatia 0.6 xG. Croatia had more of the ball, and for me, one of the biggest takeaways for me from this game was the different Croatia we saw. The Croatia that was front foot, went at the opposition, and then maybe we can juxtapose it to the Croatia we had seen in other games. The passing accuracy in the final third, not too wide apart. Both teams had 6 shots inside the box though. They went into the penalty box 6 more times than the Argentines did. Had 12 shots with only 2 on target. The Argentine had 9 shots with 7 on target, and 3 of those 7 shots on target ended up being goals, as we saw. So I don't know if the numbers speak to whatever it is we saw last night.
Well, the 2 numbers I want to point out are the penalty area entries and the shots. And let's compare it to the possession. It just shows how little Croatia did with the ball, rather than how much of the ball they had. And we've spoken about it this tournament, that when you have possession, you have to make use of it. We complained about Spain and how when they got the ball, they weren't creating much with it. The fact that Argentines used the ball better, created better opportunities, just goes to show that it's about how you use the ball, not how much of it you have. So Croatia really, their midfield, as we expected, was able to control the ball, keep it ticking, but they weren't able to create much in the final third. And we did suspect it could be a problem. And I think once you start Paslic, you lose something in the final third. I think their idea was first to limit the Argentinians before getting their own attacks. But when they conceded those 2 first half goals, it meant that Paslic was not having any use in the game, because his game is that he's more of a box-to-box midfielder, So that having him wide and that energy was lost when you are losing the game. And in the end, you saw they moved Perisic to left back. They kind of were trying to change things around to try and get more attacking players on the pitch. And they still struggled to create chances. And we've said it before that if you look at the stats, the Argentine defense has actually been very good. And it's rather the keeper letting them down. So even if you come at them and you attack them, they are able to constrict the space and make it difficult for teams to get at them and create chances. So that was impressive to see, and they continue to do that. But again, now we are looking towards the final. We are thinking about if they are facing an Mbappe or even you push much higher up the pitch and Morocco hits you on the counter-attack, can you limit them the same way? It will be interesting to see. But so far this tournament, Argentina's defense has been very good.
Daniel, anything you want to highlight in terms of the numbers?
No, in terms of the action itself.
Okay, we'll get into that. Let's move it on. Let's look at the full-time data, if we have that. So this is really what the numbers look like, of course, represented in a different way. Croatia having more of the ball, Argentina having less of it, but the Argentines used it well. All right, let's have a look at the patterns of the game. Let's see the pattern of the game, and then maybe we can start to see what happened there. So this is where you usually work your magic. So we see the 3 points marking the goals, 34th minute, 39th minute, 69th minute.
I said they were very good chances, and they took them. That's the difference. Croatia never really had a chance close to that, because the fact that their XG is 0.6 alone should tell you that and they took 12 shots. They just weren't able to create something like that. And every time the Argentines got a chance like that, it was in the back of the net. And that was really their game. And the second goal for me will probably be the most disappointing for the Croatians, because I thought the chance was gone. Because there was a runner on the left, if you remember the goal, and Alvarez kind of cut inside. I thought he should have passed it to the guy on the left, because the guy on the left was in acres of space. So I thought once he had cut inside, he had messed up. But the tackle kind of bobbled back, kind of deflected back on him, and the ball went. And then we spoke about Sousa. Sousa was the last man. He was moving the wrong way. And by the time he tried to change direction and clear the ball, he just didn't get any proper contact on it. So he almost teed it up for Alvarez in the end. And when the ball is like that, the ball was, he was a yard ahead of the keeper. Ball is in the air. There's nothing the keeper can do. He just kind of knocks it in. And so it was a very difficult match when you look at it like that, because if they had kind of held on until halftime, 1-0, you could have seen them maybe be able to produce something. But once it was 2-0 and they had to kind of make such radical changes, go very gung-ho to start the second half, it was always going to be difficult for them.
Daniel, I think it sets us up brilliantly to talk about the game itself, just looking at the flow of the game in terms of the XG. You said you wanted to highlight the action itself. So let's go into the points you wanted to raise.
First of all, the penalty destroyed the Croatian game plan.
Okay.
Completely. And it shouldn't have been a penalty had the referee gone to the VAR.
I see.
Why do I say that? When we all saw the replay, Levakovic came out, made himself big, and was static. He was in position. It was Alvarez's momentum that caused him to come and crash into the goalkeeper. That's what the benefit of the replay and benefit of VAR gives us. And if that is the case, it shouldn't have been a penalty. If you insist that was a penalty, then Alvarez's goal, his first goal, had he not scored, that would also have been a penalty. Because when he put the ball in the back of the net, he ended up crashing into the goalkeeper, which is also a foul. And had that been another penalty, that would have been a red card for Levakovic. But clearly nobody is talking about that, because that in football is not a foul. If I'm standing there and you follow through and in your momentum you come and you hit me, it's not a foul any day. In real time, I was looking at the ball. But when I turned and I saw the clash of bodies, I thought it was a penalty. But once the replay came in and Levakovic comes, he stands big, he stands tall. Yes, he misses the ball, but he didn't make an action to impede Alvarez. Alvarez's momentum is what took him through to Levakovic to hit him. And once that happened, the Croats had to open up and search for a goal. But before that, the game was in their hands. They had the ball, they were controlling. Argentina hadn't created anything, you can tell. They hadn't created anything. Messi was struggling to find the positions in which he would be dangerous. The bodies were crowding him anytime he had the ball. So the game plan was going clearly according to plan. It was a very well crafted game plan by Zlatko Dalic. But unfortunately, once the penalty came in, it came in 35th minute. At that point in time, you are telling yourselves that let's quickly try and get back into this game, at least get an equalizer before halftime. And if you saw the defending for the second goal, the amount of bodies they had committed for it, allowing Argentina to have that space in the counter-attack, I just feel like the penalty changed the entire game. But yes, you beat what's in front of you. You can look at it again. Funny enough, I don't know why the highlights doesn't capture the replay, but it's interesting. Levakovic stands, and it's Alvarez who runs into him. If anything, Should be a foul for Croatia.
So do you agree?
I disagree.
You disagree?
And the thing is, because he's right, the keeper doesn't move. But the problem is, once it's like the keeper has come forward and stands there, and it's like he's kind of flicked the ball around you, and he's still running, and you're in the way, and he can't get around you. 9 times out of 10, the referee will give a foul. I understand what Daniel is saying perfectly, but more often than not, these are given as penalties.
The question is it or is it not? It's not what is the precedence. Is it or is it not?
So if you were handling
that's how it works, but that's the precedent. The precedent is that this is a penalty 9 times out of 10.
So if you were handling this game, you would have called this as a penalty.
Because it's given as that's the point I'm making, that you can say the keeper didn't move. I agree with you, he didn't move. But once you come out, you try and make yourself big, and they kind of flick the ball around you, and you are right here, they'll give a penalty, because the idea is you are obstructing the attacker from getting to the ball that he's flicked beyond you.
No, the attacker shot. That's what the replay will show you. He didn't hit it around him hoping to go back.
Okay.
He shot, and it was a poor shot.
Okay, so
goes
here's
past
the
goal.
replay. So we
this
see
is the replay.
Alvarez gets it.
That doesn't look like a shot to me.
This is it. Look.
This doesn't look like a shot.
Levakovic is there. He comes to crash into Levakovic.
But-
Look at the legs.
Okay, doesn't look
he,
like a shot.
he comes to crash
Hold on,
into
Daniel,
Levakovic.
so what if somebody argues and says that if you look at that touch taken by Alvarez, that touch is not strong enough to be a shot? What if he was trying to tee it up, go around the goalkeeper, and
And if he was
complete
trying
the
to
chance?
tee it up and go around the goalkeeper, there was a defender who had covered it. It was a shot, and it was a poor shot.
It wasn't a shot. That one, if you want to say it's a shot, if that's
So
what
he
you
was
want to
lifting
pass,
it over the
he was
goalkeeper.
trying to move it, flick it past him. That doesn't look like a shot to me. Why? Alvarez, who you said is a good finisher, suddenly he looks at that ball clear, and then he just kind of that's a
He's
shot.
trying to lift it past him and go past Lovren.
I mean, I'm just saying.
That looked more
what if
like he
somebody
was trying
argues
to
and
go around
says,
the
if-
keeper
if
to
he
me.
was
I'm trying to
shooting-
touch the ball, right? I see you approaching. The ball bounces. I know, okay, you are too close for me to lob the ball. No problem. So I'll touch it, get round you, and then complete the chance. In my mind, I've got
Nathan,
enough skill.
look
and
at the
pace to do it.
space between the goal and the goalkeeper.
Yes.
If this happened outside the box or further behind,
Yes.
it makes sense. But the guy shot. You can't tell me he was
That's
flicking it past the goalkeeper.
definitely not a
No,
shot.
Look, let's look
I
at
disagree
it. Let's
with
look at the
So
replay.
wait,
Look at the,
so the ball
look at
comes
screen.
in. The ball comes in. Alvarez, the
is
touch
this-
is not in question. It is whether he was shooting or not. Daniel, you say it's a shot.
He's trying to lob the keeper. How can't you see
How
this?
is he trying to lob the keeper? That's a lob. You're not trying to hide.
Daniel, I'm just
disagree
asking.
completely.
I'm just playing the devil's advocate. So okay, now let's
No,
just,
Nathan, don't play the devil's advocate. You give me your verdict on this.
personally what I saw.
Yes.
I think he attempted lobbing the goalkeeper.
He attempted lobbing the goalkeeper.
doesn't
Okay,
look
If you
like
lob.
ask, so
I mean, that doesn't look like a
if
shot
you
to
ask-
me.
this
I
what-
feel like the lack of power and the lack of conviction doesn't
Because he
completely
didn't
hide
catch it
the
well.
lack of power clearly means he didn't catch it well.
He can't
you ask
possibly
me-
be
and
trying to
if you
flick
ask
it around
me
the goalkeeper
personally,
with
that's what
that
I'm saying
close to
that-
pull. If he was trying to do that, then he's a bad finisher. If that was
That's
what
why I
was
think he was trying to
then
do.
he's a bad
Honestly,
finisher.
I did
You're
not
trying
see
to
that
do-
as a shot to me.
No, that's
my
I think
my
we can all
opinion of it.
interpret because personally, when I saw the action involved in my head, the first thing I said was Alvarez lob the goalkeeper because that in that situation, that's the only thing you can do.
That's what he
That's what he
that's
tried
what
to
you
do.
that's what you
If he
would
had
do.
flicked
But
it
he
round, that's
doesn't seem
different.
to be doing that. No, seriously, because if that's his attempt at a
Nathan.
lob, it's so bad that I can't see it as a lob.
Look,
Maybe if that's where
you
we
are
are
judging
disagreeing.
the technique. If he was trying to flick the thing, he would have hit it round. He did this. He tried. The close-up will show you. He literally lobbed the ball past the goalkeeper. It was just look at this. Look at the technique. Look at how he's hitting the ball.
So if you ask me
this can't be a flick.
personally, if I still say it was a lob, because I don't think he counted for, or in his mind, he probably didn't imagine the defenders getting there. So probably he must have thought a gentle touch, because the keeper is out, any slight touch gets the ball across the
Honestly,
line.
for me, because of how he hit it and the lack of power, I can't see it as a shot. It's different if we had more power and
It's
it was
literally
flying
on
to
the edge of
even
the
in
6-yard
fact-
box. How can he be trying to flick around the
Maybe he was
goalkeeper
trying
with
to.
two
He's trying
defenders
to.
at
Why he was
post?
trying to? Why he can't
And I'm
turn
saying
around
if
the
he's
keeper?
trying to do that, then he's a very bad player.
But do you know why I disagree?
Okay,
Even
why?
Neymar's goal, he kind of shifted it
That
right
was
in the
on the-
6-yard
the ball
box.
was on the
But
floor.
that's
He
the
had
point I'm
control
making
over
to you.
it. This is
Why?
different.
Why can't he try and do the same thing with the ball in the air?
This is football we are talking about. It's not hypothesis. This is football. The
but-
ball is on the
and
ground.
we are seeing it
It's
right
different
now.
from
We are seeing it
dribbling the
right now,
keeper.
and you're
When the
telling me-
ball is in the air, it is much more difficult to get it under control,
So
to flick it.
you
If
take
it's
it- you
further
take it
behind,
first time.
if it's further behind, that's when you can lob the keeper, have enough time
if
to
it's
go
in the
past.
air and the keeper is right there and you want to finish, that's the least convincing finish of all. And if Alvarez, and that's the thing, we've talked about Alvarez's
most common
finish.
finish.
It's
Okay,
not
Susu,
it's
hold
not
on.
convincing
It's the most common
finish.
finish.
Susu,
Robin past the keeper
what
is
if in
in it.
Alvarez's mind, like I'm saying, the ball breaks, he sees Levakovic approaching. Maybe he doesn't even see Lovren and whoever going behind the goalkeeper as a shield. So he says that if I touch this, see the goalkeeper is out. So any slight touch,
I'll even be surprised he didn't see Lovren in it. He would definitely know they are there.
Okay, fair point.
That's my point.
So if he knows they are there, how is he trying to flick it on the edge of the 6-yard box, thinking
that's
he can
definitely not a
bypass?
shot to me.
Okay, no problem. So you say penalty, good decision. Daniel, you say bad decision. There was another. I thought I saw the referee trying to yank out a red card.
You know what?
Can somebody...
Let's look at his goal. Alvarez's goal. That's Argentina's second goal.
Yes.
What happened there? And I want to answer this question. Had he missed, would that also have been a penalty? Let's see his Argentina's second.
Maybe our producers can move it on to the second goal. But okay, so at this point, Daniel, you say that this was the seminal moment in the game. It changed the game.
It changed the game completely.
Okay, now let's go back to what I said a few minutes ago about Croatia. Were you guys surprised at Croatia's approach up until this goal was scored?
No. That was a perfect game plan.
Not at all. I'm talking about when it looked like they were attacking the Argentines and getting more on the ball. I could be wrong. Maybe I read
For
it
me, I
differently.
didn't see it as they were attacking. They were just dictating play because
Okay,
there were
fine.
spaces and there were opportunities
There were
for them to react. But they were not here. They were not being proactive.
Was in a lot of space,
Yes,
and they didn't
They
find
didn't find him. I think if they were looking to impose themselves and get a goal, they would have done that. I think they were just managing the situation and being as balanced as
Did we see a lot of this side to the Croats in previous games? Maybe recency bias is affecting me. Maybe I'm looking at that extra time against Brazil, maybe against Japan. But I was very surprised at their approach and the fact that they were dictating play. I thought they would be the Argentines rather who would be more on the ball and try to create.
I thought that they would try, but I think because of the quality of their midfield and their midfield not being as good as the Croatians in terms of controlling the ball, they wanted to, but they couldn't.
Okay.
It was not a choice by Argentina to have less of the ball in the beginning. Later on, it definitely was. But at that point, before they scored the goal, it wasn't a choice.
Okay, we'll come back to this goal in a bit there. But now we are trying to see whether or not Alvarez was trying. So this Alvarez beyond.
This is his goal.
This is his goal.
So this would have been a penalty.
That looked more confident. Do you see how much more power that was in?
No,
in
I'm
that
not talking
one?
about the shot.
No, but
I'm
you
saying
understand
after the ball was played and the goalkeeper was in a static
No, but
position,
listen
had
to
he
what-
hit the post, would that have been a penalty?
But look at how much more convincing this shot was.
I'm not talking about the shot.
I'm giving
The premise is on the penalty.
No,
So
I'm,
let's talk
I'm
about the
making a
penalty.
point
That's
that
a good
that
point
for me that was a shot. Look at how look at
this
even
is
how
it.
the ball hit.
Let's
the
look
net.
at this.
That's a lot more
Had
power.
he
is
hit
it
the
not?
post and gone into the keeper, would that have been a penalty?
I wouldn't have given that.
But that's the same
But that
thing
one,
happened
I
in the
can
first goal.
clearly say that he shot. I would say he shot then.
Okay, so there are two
It looked
things
like
here.
a shot to me.
Relax.
I did the first one.
I
Didn't
get
look
it,
like
I
a
get it,
shot.
I get it. So two things. First of all, would you have called that because he clattered into the goalkeeper and the follow through? Would you have called this as a penalty?
The second
This one.
No, because for me, this looks like a shot. I can see he shot, in my opinion. The first one, I said is a penalty because it didn't look to me like he shot.
Okay.
Look, it's the same action. I come out, I make myself big. You see the inconsistency?
It's not the same action.
I
I'm
make
giving
myself
you-
big.
I've told
you hit the ball past me and you run into me.
It's not
How
the
is
same.
that a foul
It's not
against
the
me?
same action. One, he shot. If he shot already, the keeper has not stopped him from shooting. In the first one, if it's a touch, the keeper has obstructed him from getting to the ball and trying to shoot. If you shoot and you miss, it won't be a penalty. That's the point I'm making.
Okay,
For me,
so now-
on the second one, that looks like a shot to
Nathan,
me. The first one doesn't look like a shot to me. And that's the point.
You
I'm
know
making.
the consistencies of penalties.
I get it.
If I'm a striker and I'm running away from goal and I tip the ball past the defender and he clatters into me, I wasn't going to score. The ball was going away from
they will
goal.
still give a
It's
penalty.
a foul. If I'm going towards goal, it's a foul. A foul is a foul. A foul doesn't matter where you are going or if it was a shot or not. A foul is a foul. And I'm saying that once the goalkeeper didn't make that forward movement to intentionally try and impede him, once he came out, made himself big, do you want him to become transparent? He can't. All he can do is to stand big and tall. And whatever you do after is your problem. I think the referee, it would have been a foul if it wasn't a short situation. Had he been further away and had the goalkeeper made a movement to try and stop him. Once I come and I make myself big and you hit it past me,
But
and
the
you
coming
run
to
into
make
me
yourself
further,
big is to try and stop him.
It's to try and stop
why
the
did he
ball.
come? Yeah, but
if
it's
you're
the
trying
same
to,
thing.
no, you see, if you're trying to stop the man and the ball goes past you, make a movement to intentionally try and stop the man. But once I come out and I make myself, it's different from defenders intentionally standing in the way to block. He came out to make a save. And once he's done this and the ball flies past
Once
him,
you move
and
towards
you
him.
run into me, not that.
But he also moved towards him.
No, he didn't.
He moved towards him.
He stood there and he ran into
how would
him.
he have been there? Why wasn't he on his line? He moved towards him.
I've seen the replay
He
6
moved towards
billion
him.
times. How did he move towards him?
You are saying that if he moved towards him, why was he in front of him?
Let's
He
watch
moved
the
towards the
replay.
ball. He moved towards him.
Alvarez was moving in this direction. Levakovic was there already. He ran into him.
He moved
Look at the
towards
leg
him.
movement.
So you're talking about, we are still on this first goal.
Yes.
Okay, so now
I'm
let's look
saying,
at
you see,
I'm
the
saying
last
that once
replay,
the
what that
keeper-
shows the
once
leg
the keeper
contact.
kind
Who
of
watched
does
that?
this to try and spread himself.
I-
There is deep
Dan-
that
Dan,
you
if you ask-
obstructed him.
Personally, Dan, if you ask me, I think what may have made the referee's decision was probably Livakovic's body posture.
He didn't look at the replay, so nothing would have made his decision. He saw it in real time and he decided
what I'm
not to look
saying.
at the
So-
replay.
so maybe-
had he looked at the replay, I'm very sure he would have
He
changed
didn't
his
have
mind.
to look at the replay.
He had to.
He doesn't
He
have
had
to.
to,
You know how
because
you see.
he had to.
You keep saying this. There's
He
a
had
way.
to.
There's a
No,
VR
you see-
procedure.
you see.
That you are asking him to do. The
Nathan,
VR is supposed to
Nathan,
see if there is a mistake and tell it.
Let's bin that procedure. Because if we continue using this, this is how it is done. We'll never get to the bottom of things. You can use that same explanation for what happened against Ghana and Portugal.
Yeah.
What is wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter how they do it. What is wrong is wrong. He should have looked at the replay. Whether he was able to explain what he thought he saw or not. A replay shows us a completely different question.
Okay, so do
had
you
he
think-
watched the replay and the referee watched the replay between, look at the leg movement I'm talking about. How is Livakovic? Did look at his leg was planted in the ground. So how is he moving? Look, he runs into him, or you can't see.
If your leg is like this is how you naturally stand. No, seriously, is this how you naturally stand? No, seriously,
He
if you are
moved
running
in this direction.
I
I'm
think-
saying the
I'm
keeper
saying, first of all,
has
he
moved
moved-
and
first of all-
planted his leg in the ground.
you do this. You do
and
this.
You ran into me.
Okay, no,
How
but
is
once
that a
you-
penalty?
but Daniel,
First of all, he moved towards him.
if you
He
watch-
spreads himself as
and
wide
if-
as
I'm coming.
possible.
If you watch the play as it develops, Livakovic comes off his line. Then he does this very awkward motion where, like Susu's
He's trying
pointing
to
out,
spread himself
kind
as
of
wide to block the pass.
What will help all of us is if we stop playing this real time thing. Let's just cut that portion of the
which
replay.
and we do a freeze frame.
Not a
At
freeze
which
frame.
point?
Let's the slow motion. The
So we
last
should slow
two,
it down.
The last two angles.
The last two
of the
angles.
slow motion. Let's just watch it and see who ran into who. Whether somebody moved his leg to impede somebody, or somebody was standing there
I don't
and
agree.
was
I
running.
agree that the keeper didn't move, but he also spread
If
himself
he
as
didn't
wide
move,
as
then
possible.
then
I didn't say why I said he spread
Alvarez's first goal
spread it.
also.
All right.
Had he missed, it also would have been a penalty. That's all I'm saying, because it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
So I think what can help is if our producers
I
can,
feel like he spread
can
himself as wide as possible.
If they can slow the replay down and then we can digest it in phases.
This is a foul on the keeper.
How? Someone has tried to spread himself as wide as possible to stop someone running towards goal.
Okay, so we are looking. Wow, look in real time. It look. But then I kind of agree with that. This is what I think. I feel that maybe the VR protocol must be looked at. So, for example, if a referee sees something and players protest, he can say, you know what, I'm going to have a look.
But do you know why they've done that? Because people are complaining that VR takes too long. They are trying to. This is the same complaint that Paul had. It's
So it
taking
is
too
speed
long.
over accuracy. That's what we want. We want the game to move
No,
so
I'm
fast
giving
that
you a-
we
it's-
intentionally overlook decisions that are
But he
supposed
didn't
to be
overlook
taken.
it. There's
was
three
overlooked.
referees
Nathan, let me
there
ask you a
checking
question.
if it's a mistake.
Had the referee
Three referees
gone
checking
to
if
the
it's a
replay
mistake.
between Ghana and Portugal, do you think he would have changed his mind?
I think so.
So we want the game to hurry up and
Oh,
finish.
no. I mean, you're asking me, do I think he would have changed this?
Everybody who saw that replay, initially we were all skeptical.
Yes.
But once we saw the replay, we all saw that Salisu got the ball. So referee, why aren't you going there?
Good.
You are telling me because the protocol says
No, but
if
you're
he's able
asking,
to explain
and I'm
to
saying
the
that I
viewer.
agree with you because I feel that if the referee had gone to see it, he would have
Yes,
seen
so
all
whatever
what we
reason
saw.
they give for that,
But
it's
you see,
wrong. What is
I
wrong
don't
is wrong.
Me, I'm surprised because there's other referees there overseeing this, and they all agree it's a
No, you
penalty.
see, so on this premise,
You
what you are
see,
telling
okay,
us is
hold
that
on,
everything
okay.
that VR does is correct. That's what you are telling me. That once a decision is given and once the VR exists, whether a referee
Okay,
goes
guys,
to the bench or not,
so
he's right.
hold
Because
on.
there are three referees.
So we
there
have
who
it
are looking.
slowed down even further. Now let us see for ourselves. I guess we all have our entrenched positions. Hopefully
It's
this.
not even an entrenched position.
Okay,
for me.
okay.
It's
hold
far
on.
from
Let's
entrenched.
see, let's
But
see.
my
So
point is,
Livakovic,
my point is that he's obstructing the guy as per how I see it.
That's okay. It's
Even
all
if he's
perspective.
it doesn't matter whether he's once he's trying to make himself as wide as
I think
possible.
this
he's
is the best
obstructing
angle.
the guy.
You
That's
hit
how
the
I see
ball.
it.
I'm already planted in my position. Look at the momentum.
Wait, Daniel, you wait. So we froze. So at this point, Alvarez is about to take the touch. He's about to, in your opinion, touch, shoot. So in your opinion, touch and go round.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move it on. And so he touches it.
Who hits who? Who hits who? You explain to me what is happening there. Who is hitting who? Is it the goalkeeper who is going to clatter him, or his momentum is taking him into the goalkeeper who is standing
The keeper
there
hadn't
trying
made
to do
himself
his
as
job?
wide. If he hadn't made himself as wide as possible, they wouldn't have hit him.
So he should stand like this.
But that's the point. You are blocking him. But that's the point. You are blocking him. But that's the point. You are blocking. Once you make yourself as wide as possible, you can't say that the guy ran into you. You literally try to make yourself as wide as possible. What do you expect? If you are making yourself wide, you are literally
but we've seen,
actively putting yourself in his way.
Players, for example, and Jamie Vardy is the best example. We see what they do, where they
flick it round and they run into the keeper.
Not even what they do with defenders, where they go past the defender and somehow manage to generate contact where if you looked at it critically, you realize that the defender is not even sticking out a leg or making a motion, but you see the player go down anyway and the ref gives a penalty.
Yeah.
Now, I ask this question because when I look at this from this angle, maybe this changes something, but I'm looking at it, and I'm beginning to get convinced Alvarez actually goes into Livakovic.
Look at this. His leg is planted.
That's Alvarez's tie.
You see, my whole point about this thing is, if you are running, if someone is running at you, and you've done your body like this, right? It's not like you are just stand. You've spread your body as wide as possible. That is what is going
That's
against
not a defender. That's a goalkeeper.
It doesn't matter.
That's how he makes the save.
But it doesn't matter.
So once you've got the ball past you, sorry that your shot was poor.
You see, but it doesn't matter once you are spreading yourself as wide as possible, even if you are standing still. Because I don't disagree that he's standing still. Once you spread yourself as wide as possible, what is the referee seeing? You are trying to block him.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. So you are refereeing a game. I'm the goalkeeper. Daniel is put through one-on-one and I'm standing. I come off my line, right? And Daniel attempts to lob the ball. Now, I see that he's trying to lob the ball. So say I jump. Let's say I open myself up and I do the star jump. Now, after Daniel lobs the ball, he lobs the ball and runs into me. Whilst I'm standing, let's say I come out and I don't even go anywhere. In that same position, I jump like this. Daniel lobs. No, I don't. I of course, by making a star jump is allowed. So I do the star jump. And then Daniel runs straight into me. I don't disagree
he's making a star jump.
So I'm asking, if Daniel runs into me, if he runs into me, would you give a penalty?
Depends on the angle he runs into you at. And I'm explaining.
Okay, if he runs
straight head on, I won't give a penalty.
Okay, so what if he goes through I've already extended myself and he goes either side of me?
If it's either side of you, I'll give a penalty. And that's my point. Because once you are spreading your body, it's an unnatural obstruction. Or you don't understand my point I'm making. Do you understand? It's an unnatural obstruction.
It's not either side.
He falls over his leg.
No, this is not either side. His body continued in the same momentum, in the same direction.
That's what he's trying to go around him.
He can't even be trying to go around him. Because if the body would have taken a different direction. But watch it. Once he lobbed he kept on going there. That's
he goes either side. Look, and that's my point. He has spread his body as wide as possible. And once you spread your body as wide as possible, what do you expect the referee to think as the person is running?
Look at the
that
angle.
You are basically trying to do as much as you can to stop him from going.
Okay, but so then it means you have to also. That is why I kind of agree with Daniel that maybe in such case the referee, because if I know that as an attacker, if I know there's an advantage for me
then I'll just
when I'm trying to go around the goalkeeper, all I do is I hit the ball and
just make
look
sure
for the extended leg and then hit that and fall over.
But we see players do it all the time and penalties are given. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're acting like we've never seen this penalty before.
You see,
I have seen
that's
my point.
I don't like this line of argument.
What do you mean this line of
argument is being done, so it is right? No. The fact that it was done then or it's being done doesn't mean it's right.
That's what I'm saying. Players, we are doing this all the time. And because it's this one, you're like, no, it's not.
No,
that's my thing about it.
Per this premise and per this precedent we are setting, let's not come back and discuss any refereeing decision. Because first of all, it has been done before. Second of all, there are 3 referees in the VR who have watched it. So who am I to argue about it? So from today to the final, it's unfortunate that we have just 3 more games left. Let's not discuss refereeing decisions because everything they do is right.
I think we'll discuss refereeing.
I didn't say that.
Okay, that's what you are saying.
That's not. That's what you are putting words in my mouth.
You are saying there are 3 referees there who have looked at it. So why should this
one? And that's my point. Once you spread your body to obstruct, who is going to look at that and say, oh, Livakovic was just
That's
there.
why
Alvarez
VAR
running
is
team.
there. That's why VAR is there.
Okay, so-
Because when you
And
look
that's
at
what
it,
when you said
look
that's
at
why
the replay,
VAR
you
is
can
there.
tell.
VAR has looked at it and said there's no need for the referee to come. So what do you want
All
him
right,
to do?
guys, so let's move
You want
on.
him to go and look at the
So
monitor of his own
Argentina get
violation.
that.
So the
Argentina
Ghana
get
penalty versus Portugal was a good decision. But VAR looked at it and told the referee not to come.
So that's all. We have to live with it. Did I say that was a good decision?
Let's move it
So
on.
you are not answering the question whether it's a right decision or not.
I said
You are
that.
just saying it is
I
done.
said 9 times out of 10, this penalty is
Okay,
given.
so-
So for me,
so do
if it
you
was
think-
a 10 time, 1 out of 10, I would more question it that way. That's
so
how
for
I
you,
see it.
The fact that it's been given over time, you won't really
I don't see
question
the
it.
point of arguing over something that's always done. That's my key point
That's
here. Let me start with that. And secondly, when I look at it, the fact that he spread his body alone, it makes it harder for the referee to say you ran into him.
won't give it, okay.
Because if you are standing straight and someone runs into you, what's the referee is going to say? He was standing
This
straight.
applies to
Clearly.
defenders. It doesn't apply to
Why
a
doesn't it
goalkeeper
apply
in his
to a
box.
keeper?
A goalkeeper
But
in
there's
his
no,
box.
you see,
is bound to.
There is no rule that a goalkeeper in his box is treated differently than a player. You are making that
That's
up.
true.
There's no
when
rule
a
like
goalkeeper
that.
goes for those when he's in his area and he comes
Because he's
out
the
for
only
a-
person who can use his arm. So if a player
Yeah, so
jumps
they are
their
protected
same
in
way,
their box.
They are
It's
not.
not like there's no rule.
They are
They are.
not. They are not.
They are.
They are not. In a situation like this, there's no rule that makes a keeper different from a player. Unless you are saying that if you have touched the ball with his hands and they give a penalty, that's the only way that you can see. That's the only difference. That if you had stopped it with his hand, that's the only difference in this situation
All right,
from a
guys.
player.
Okay, let's move it on. It looks like, I'm sure the debate at the stadium was also quite huge and probably among the referees. So Argentina go on, they score a first. Then you say it changed the direction of the game. When you look at the second goal and you look at Croatia, what would you say about how the Croats looked in the build-up to the second goal?
open. Something we have seen until that point, until the first goal went in. Okay. They were open. They were all
Do
over
you
the
think
place.
do you think they got a little desperate too early?
No, I understood why they were trying to level it as soon as possible. At least to try and go into the break 1-1, which was possible, especially on set-piece situations. So I understand why they committed so many bodies to try and get the ball. It's a risk, but when you assess their thinking, you can understand. Try and get it 1-1 at halftime and then go back to what we are doing and force it as long. Because, trust me, if Argentina hadn't entered the game yet, you didn't want a situation where they have the advantage and then it's getting to the dynamics of the game and you are still chasing it. They would have ripped them apart. And that's what ended up happening eventually.
Okay.
So had they been able to get that equalizer, which they were trying to do, and left themselves open at the back, I think we would have gone back to plan A.
I see.
I won't say they should be disappointed with their goal, but their approach before the goal, there was nothing wrong with it. Like Daniel said, you have to, and they had their heights in set-piece situations, so it's good to use it. But what's disappointing about that goal is you could have stopped him. And I think the first guy who tackled Alvarez, he did okay with his tackle. There was nothing wrong with the tackle. It just bounced off. It happens sometimes. Yeah. Sosa will be very disappointed in himself because he could have cleared that ball.
In fact, I don't. they made two of these mistakes in the game.
Two mistakes.
The first one, whoever tackled Messi when he tipped the ball, brilliant job. The second one should have happened right as soon as Alvarez touched the ball. Hack him down in the center. Because once you do that, it's done. At that point, I don't even think the referee would have given a yellow card. Even if he gives you a yellow card, fine, but you stop the goal. And then Alvarez's second goal. I don't know why people are. How is that not Vadio's fault?
Which one? The
Any
second?
smart defense. Wait.
The third
You
goal.
Vadio, who
Which
are
one?
you?
Which
The
one?
third goal.
The one
where
Messi
Alvarez
took him
kind
from
of-
the center,
the
dragged
3-0.
him to the edge of the box,
Yeah.
turned him round, turned him again, and cut the ball back to Alvarez. And people are saying that would have worked for any other attack because it's Messi. Because you know it's Messi, don't allow him to turn
Don't
you.
allow him, yeah.
Hack him down from the box. That's what you do. Who are you? Sergio Ramos has tried, he has failed. Van Dijk has tried it. You are Vadio. You're not any better than them. He's still Lionel Messi. Don't allow him to turn. Once he picks the ball and he goes past you, hack him down. It's on the line. They get a free kick. You come back. You
I think the problem
reorganize
with this
yourself.
goal is that there was no one close to
I'm
Alvarez.
not talking about this one. I'm talking about the last
I'm saying you mentioned this one before that they should have hacked him down. When he got the ball, there was no one around him. So they were now trying
But
to
they are
figure out.
honest.
They were now trying to figure out how to get to him. I think that was their problem.
I don't, frankly speaking, I don't think they were smart enough. If it was any other attacker who had gone past Vadio, we would have called him out for it. And especially Messi. Look at this.
Okay.
Look at this.
So
Look
this
at
is
where
the
Messi picks the ball up from. And once he tips it past you, it's danger. Unless you don't
Pull
know
him.
Messi.
As in, you should have pulled
This is
him.
danger. Unless
So
you don't
at
know
this
Messi.
point,
So you're saying you should have pulled him.
As soon as Lovren started retreating, pull him down. That's what you do. Do you think you're going to be able to get the
Do
ball
a
off him?
Chiellini.
Simple. Even Chiellini on Saka, recognize that Saka has strength. You are marking Messi, and you're allowing him to get closer and closer and closer to the box. No. Unless you don't know who he is. If this was Alvarez or somebody and you did this, I understand. Because you know that once you face him one-on-one, you sort of curb the danger. This is Messi you are facing.
You know what's interesting? I think Messi also didn't want to face one. I felt like if he
No,
tried,
he couldn't.
I was about to say if he had
hit it past him.
That's what I'm about to say.
He could stop one-on-one and dribble him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
he realized that he couldn't.
So you feel that
You see, he was recovering.
Messi himself didn't want to face Vardio because he realized that if he has tried to push the ball past him, look at the size difference, the pace, and he can't do it. So if you notice, once he gets past him,
you foul him here.
Once Lovren starts retreating, foul him here, right here, because Lovren is thinking that you have it under control and he's going to pick up the next runner.
Yeah.
If you don't foul him here and you allow Messi to get one-on-one and he goes past you, that is Messi through on goal. Not here. As soon as just before the edge
if
of
you
the
notice,
ball,
Messi
pull him
turned
down.
back because he realized that he didn't have the
He
pace.
didn't have the pace.
So he had to turn and find a new strategy to kind of bamboozle him. Because look, he's trying to go and the guy he can't
So
get
there,
free.
Here, just pull him down.
That's where. Because he had cover in Lovren. And,
Look, back in the day, we said Pepe and Ramos were reckless. They were smart. Because you don't overestimate your ability. You understand your opponent, and you know that if it is you, Pepe, Ramos, Carvalho, Lasana, they are all four on you or Messi, he'll dribble all of you. So if you are left one-on-one with him, don't attempt to make
their foul.
Just take the foul.
And that's why Mourinho used to make them train for having a red card. Because he knew that you pick up yellow cards.
That's the way to handle him. He's Messi. You can't do anything about it. You can't.
And handling him that way is part of the plan.
It's part of the game. You hack him down quick before he gets to turns and one-on-one.
That's why they give, because it's a tactical foul. They've realized that you know that you can't stop the attack. You've taken the foul. So the punishment is the yellow.
Yes.
You have to take the yellow card. And in a World Cup semi-final, take the yellow card.
Tie your mask like this, you think you can handle Messi. That's what will happen to you.
And, he's only 20, so it's youthful exuberance.
It's youthful exuberance.
It's lack of
probably
experience.
overestimated his
It's a lack of experience.
Because
Lovren would have hacked him down.
He would have absolutely destroyed him.
Yeah, Lovren would have taken him out.
Because I go back, for example, to the Chiellini on Saka episode, because I remember how they played. Saka was going to eat up Chiellini.
Remember, Saka had
just
about
passed him.
Kelly just grabbed as much of the shirt as he could and held as tight as he could. And that's the funny thing, because if you look at the way Italy were camped on the halfway line, and the fact that it was Bonucci and Kelly who had to run back,
That's trouble.
they were dead.
All right. We'll come back and delve more into that. But this is the World Cup Daily Show on Citi TV. I've got Sisu Graham and Daniel Kranzi here with me. My name is Nathan. Our show proudly brought to you by OneXBet and by Electroland. We'll take a short break. When we come back, more analysis of Croatia v Argentina. And a little later, we preview the second semi-final between Morocco and France. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.